Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from the True Off My Chest subreddit from Chicken Wing Priest, who says, broke up with my girlfriend over tattoos. She no longer agrees with our breakup. Nuts. I want to preface this with a disclaimer that there is nothing wrong with having tattoos, if you want and like them. Please don't take this as a condemnation of tattoos or the people that get them as a whole. My ex and I were together about a year. Early on in the relationship, she had mentioned wanting to get some tattoos. I told her she had every right to do so since it's her body, but I find tattoos very unattractive and I would likely break up if she went through with it. It became a small fight and she was cold and passive-aggressive about it for a few days, but eventually she said she understood and would not be getting the tattoos done. Fast forward to about 2 months ago, and she makes another attempt to get me on board with tattoos. I reiterate my stance and tell her again she can do it, but I won't stick around if she does. I went out of town to visit my cousin for a week and come home to her with a partial sleeve done. Her arm was basically one big scab. I asked her what's going on, and she just nonchalantly says her and her best friend had talked and agreed I was being unreasonable, so she went ahead and used my time out of town to get it done, so I wouldn't be around to be a buzzkill about it. She said she got as much as the guy was willing to do in one sitting inked, and once she was healed, she planned to get it extended. The tattoo was already a deal breaker for me, but the blatant disrespect and casual way she was implying my opinion didn't matter broke my feelings for her right there. We fought, and eventually she just told me to get the hell out and locked herself in the bathroom. Thank God she did this when she did, because I was close to not renewing my lease at my apartment and moving in with her. Packed my shit up and left while she shit-talked me to her best friend on the phone. Dropped her stuff off from my place the next day. She told me I was making a huge mistake and throwing a good thing away for petty reasons. I just handed her the bag and left. That was weeks ago. Didn't hear from her until today. She called me. Here's a very brief summary of the call. She said, okay, the petty drama has run its course. You can move back in and move on, okay? Opie said, no, we're broken up. It's over permanently. I don't want to get back together. She says, we aren't getting back together. This was just a spat that got out of hand. You freaked out and left in a huff. I know you're just too proud to admit you're wrong, so we just call it even and you can come back. I said, no, I told you repeatedly that the tattoos are a deal breaker. You did it anyway and then disrespected me on top of that with the way you went about it. We're done. You can move on now. Find a guy that finds your new ink attractive because I find it repulsive and wouldn't be able to look at you or that arm again. Conversation goes in circles for a bit before I hang up. Then she tries sending me some nudes in an attempt to seduce me. But her body does nothing for me now. And her sleeve was visible, which, even after it healed, was gross and unflattering. Told her I deleted them and leave me alone. Blocked. She then messaged me on Snap saying she never agreed to break up and I owed her a conversation face to face if I wanted to end things. Blocked again. I know it's bad form to be a guy calling his ex crazy, but this girl is nuts. Edit. I find all the talk about me being shallow pretty funny, considering she told me that if I ever gained weight or stopped going to the gym, she'd leave me. Hell, she put on weight throughout our entire relationship, and it never once made me consider leaving her. I still found her beautiful. When she changed her hair color to colors that I didn't like, I never said a bad word to her about it. I was supportive. I didn't like it, but it wasn't a deal breaker. And one last edit. This was great. Sub really is great for getting things off your chest. Sub name and whatnot. Had a lot of fun reading responses, and while I didn't need validation to know what I did was right, I still appreciate the supportive folks. The negative ones accusing me of being shallow, controlling, weird, and all sorts of other things because I have a preference were fun too. Didn't change my mind one bit, but I'm glad you guys were able to get those things off your chests as well. Look, as someone with tattoos myself, I like tattoos, but if someone was to say that they didn't find me attractive because of the tattoos, that's up to them. And I kind of feel the same in this situation, she's allowed to go and get tattoos, it's her body, she can do what she wants with it, but you're also allowed to have your preferences. And to me, you clearly stated what's going to happen a couple of times if she does get a tattoo, and that's exactly what happened. It makes you incompatible when it did happen. But refusing the breakup is a bit on the wild side, right? But Shonsu says a breakup is not a debate, and it doesn't need consensus agreement. Lucky Lurker says you two were just incompatible. Nothing wrong with breaking up over it. On to the next adventure. Chicken Wing says, could you please let her know she's supposed to be on a new adventure? She seems to think we're still on the old one. Buffalo says, be prepared for the crazy to really start now. If you have any shared friends still, make sure it's clear that you've ended the relationship. It's been over since she got the tattoo. Any further attempt for her to contact me is harassment or stalking behavior and will be reported to the police. Feel free to unblock her and let her be left on red to gather any further evidence of harassment or stalking behaviors. Chicken Wing replies to that saying, hope she doesn't escalate, but my friends know we're broken up. A few of her friends know as well. Her best friend seems to share her opinion that we're still together though. If she shows up to bother me, there are cameras all over the place here. Rose says, as a woman with multiple tattoos, let me say that you are allowed to like what you like, and you were very open with her about how you'd react if she got one. She didn't take your opinion into account, so it's just not a relationship that is compatible. She'll survive and find the right person, as will you. Akimbo Slice says, I'm not much of a tattoo person either and wouldn't really be into it. That being said, I'm thinking you guys really didn't have much in common as you initially thought. I think the bigger deal breaker was how she got as much as she could done while you were out of town. A sleeve is pretty hardcore compared to a simple tramp stamp. I see her testing other red lines in the future and jumping to see how you would react. You likely dodged future incompatibility. So, at some point later, OP came in to update the post and says, I came here a week ago to vent about a strange situation with my ex getting a tattoo, and it resulting in us breaking up. Weeks later, she acted like our breakup was just a spat and that I was being unreasonable. I told her we were broken up permanently, and I blocked her. She then tried to message me on other platforms demanding a face-to-face meeting because she never agreed to the breakup. In the end, the tattoo was a secondary cause of our breakup in my mind. She disregarded what we'd spoken and agreed about earlier on in the relationship. While I didn't give her the supportive response she wanted, and she proceeded to belittle me and insult me, then kick me out of her home, which we were close to having me move into full time. Then she locked herself in the bathroom and loudly insulted me on the phone with her best friend, who had been the one to convince her to get the tattoo while I was out of town. At that point, we were done. I took my stuff back to my place and brought her stuff from mine back to hers. She showed up at my place last night with a bag full of my bathroom stuff from her place. Just a bottle of body wash and a few other things. She asked to come in and talk, but I stepped outside and we talked out front where the cameras could see. She asked if I was really breaking up with her over a tattoo, and I reiterated that it was about more than the tattoo at this point, and that I wasn't breaking up with her. I already broke up with her weeks ago. She tried to argue with me that our relationship was stronger than that, but I told her that it wasn't. That while I was comfortable with her, this whole incident made me realize I wasn't happy with her. Her treating me poorly was the wake-up call we both needed to go our separate ways and find people we could truly be happy with. She kept trying to argue that this was crazy and I was throwing a good thing away. I told her that I wished she had just gotten a tattoo when we started dating. We could have broken up and just been friends. She said she considered it but decided she'd rather be with me than get a tattoo, so she lied to me when she said she was okay not getting one. Then when I went on my trip, her best friend convinced her to get it and claimed I'd get over it and stick around. The guy that did the first part of her sleeve was an old friend with benefits of her friend and agreed to do it for a discount. Conversations sort of went in circles a bit before she tossed the bag at me and left crying, yelling, fine, we're fucking over then. So that's that. She showed up at my place like a lot of people predicted, but no stabby stabs or anything. Friends told me she made a bunch of vague posts about heartbreak on social media, but I haven't seen any of it. Regardless of how things went down, I hope she heals and finds herself someone who can be more supportive of her choices than I was. Thanks to those people who offered me support for my decision, and to everyone calling me shallow, controlling and weird for my stance on tattoos, I gotta say, I had a blast reading those comments. Absolutely hilarious. A couple of comments after this one. Desticon says, nah man, I'm sure we have all seen controlling, and this doesn't seem like it fits the bill. I personally think it's insane to break up over a tattoo, but hey, we all have preferences. All you did was set your boundary clearly and uphold your stance. And you're right, tattoo is merely a symptom. The real issue was a disregard for your boundaries. Throwaway replies to that saying, honestly, I hate tattoos. I've had girlfriends in the past who got them, and while I didn't like it, they didn't really change my attraction to the person. I think if this girl was really the one, then OP would have gotten over it despite some frustration. This sounds more like it was the straw that broke the camel's back in a relationship that was already on its way out. OP says, I made it very clear early on. It's her body and she has every right to change it how she likes. I just made it equally clear that I don't like tattoos and I find it hard to be attracted to her if she got them. It's a hard line in the sand for me, especially given how many tattoos she said she'd want. Was able to overlook her dyeing her hair colors. I didn't like and had no problem with her putting on weight as much as she complained about it. Still thought she was beautiful. But regardless of how much people want to insult me for it, I just can't pretend that I find tattoos anything but unattractive on someone I'm supposed to be attracted to. And Bramble says, I find it crazy how many people act like body molds should be universally accepted. I find none of them attractive, including pierced ears. That is me. I would never stop someone doing what they want, but give me the respect that I have the choice of not liking it. And why would I want to be with a partner who has major features I do not like? But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, this next story you may have heard in other places, but it does have a new update to it as well. So if you do want to skip parts of the story, timestamps are down in the description as always, to skip through certain parts of it. It's titled, Am I the Arsehole for Suing My Brother Over a Family Heirloom He Gave to His Fiancée? And this is from Course Tasty 9395. It says, I come from a family where heirlooms mean a lot. Our grandmother left us an antique diamond necklace that's been passed down for generations to the first daughter in the family. Since I'm the only daughter of this generation, it was supposed to come to me. My brother claimed Grandma told him in private that it should go to him instead because he's the most responsible. I didn't want to cause drama, so I let it go, even though it felt unfair. Last week I saw on social media that my brother gave the necklace to his fiancée as an engagement gift. She posted a picture wearing it with a caption, feeling like royalty with my new family heirloom. I confronted my brother and reminded him that the necklace was meant to stay in the family. He said, she is family now. Don't be petty. When I asked for it back, he refused, saying it would ruin their engagement. I decided to take legal action to get the necklace back. Now my brother is furious and calling me selfish. My parents think I'm overreacting, but some extended family members are on my side, saying he never had the right to give it away. His fiancée even messaged me, calling me a jealous drama queen and telling me to find my own man to buy me jewelry. The whole thing has caused a family feud, and now my brother and his fiancée are threatening to uninvite me from the wedding. Am I the arsehole for taking this to court over a necklace that was supposed to be mine? OP adds, for everyone asking why I didn't fight harder to get it before. I honestly didn't want to cause a huge fight over it at the time. I thought my brother would treat it respectfully, but now seeing it being gifted like it's just some accessory really hurts. I'm not trying to ruin their engagement. I just want what's rightfully mine back. What would you have done in my place? Commenter says, not the arsehole. The necklace is a family heirloom with clear traditions, and it was meant to go to you as the only daughter of this generation. Your brother had no right to gift it to his fiancée, especially when it was intended to remain within the family. OP says, thank you, that's exactly how I feel. I don't understand why he thinks he can just rewrite the tradition. It's not about the necklace itself, but the principle behind it. Do you think taking legal action is too extreme though? I'm starting to second guess myself because of all the backlash from my parents and brother. Commenter says, you need to ask your parents why they care more about your brother than you. OP says, honestly, it feels that way sometimes. They keep saying they don't want to take sides, but their silence feels like support for him. I'm starting to wonder if they just don't want to deal with the conflict. Someone says to OP, was there a will that has confirmed what needs to be done with the necklace? OP says, unfortunately, she didn't write a will, so the necklace wasn't officially stated to go to anyone in particular. Someone says, not the arsehole. I already find it more than sus that grandma told your brother in private that she wishes to break a family tradition and give that necklace to him, not you. If it usually goes to the oldest daughter, grandma would make sure everyone knows that she wants it done differently. Telling only the person who benefits from the change makes no sense. Unfortunately, I have no idea what the law says about situations like that. Probably different in different countries. But your post sounds to me like legal action has already started, so at least your lawyer seems to believe you might have a case. Good luck. Opie says, yeah, it's hard to believe grandma would have made such a big change without telling anyone else. I'm still figuring out the legal side of things. I just want to do what's right, even if it gets messy. What's mine is mine. Opie shares the history behind her grandma's necklace and says, the last owner of the necklace before my grandmother was her mother, so it's on my grandmother's side of the family. It's always been a tradition passed down from the maternal side, and as the only daughter in this generation, it was supposed to go to me. That's why it's so frustrating to see it given away like this. Opie updates the post and says, wow, I wasn't expecting this much attention on my post. Thank you to everyone who shared their thoughts and advice. I wanted to give you an update because things have escalated and there's some new context. First, I talked to my parents about the situation. It turns out my brother didn't just take the necklace. He convinced my dad that grandma told him it was meant for him because she thought a man would be more responsible. My dad, trying to avoid conflict, handed it over without asking questions. So no, my dad didn't intentionally give it to him. It was manipulation. I also reached out to the other family members who remember grandma's clear wishes that the necklace was supposed to go to the first daughter. They're willing to back me up if this goes to court. My dad also agreed to speak on my behalf in court, clarifying that he never meant to give the necklace away permanently. As for the legal side, I consulted with my lawyer, who thinks I do have a case. Since there's no will, it all comes down to proving that the necklace was meant to stay in the maternal line. It's tricky, but I feel more confident now knowing I have some family members on my side. My brother and his fiancée, however, have doubled down. They're accusing me of being jealous, and his fiancée posted another passive-aggressive picture on social media wearing the necklace, captioning it, "Some things just find their rightful home." It's honestly infuriating. At this point, I'm committed to fighting for the necklace, even if it causes more tension in the family. I'll keep you updated if there are any major developments. I find it mad, imagine being the fiancé in this situation and one of the family members is after this necklace and you hear about the tradition stuff. You'll be like, holy shit, we should be giving this necklace back, right? But instead she seems to be stoking the fire, posting passive-aggressive pictures on social media. Oh, it's absolute madness. Opie adds to the post saying, I'm not backing down no matter how much they try to twist things. This necklace belongs to me. I'm going to make sure it stays in the family. Commoner says to OP, fight. This is theft and it rightfully belongs to you. But ask yourself, how come all of you bend to your brother's will? Have things like this happened before? OP says yes, things like this have happened before and it's always been my brother getting his way. It's frustrating, but I'm not letting it slide this time. Commoner says your brother is a manipulative piece of shit. Your parents should tell him he'd be ridden out of their will if he doesn't return the necklace to you. Saves you going to court. If not, go to court and go no contact with him after. He's not your brother. He's a snake. And go low contact/no contact with anyone in your family who sides with him. For social media, you can just post if you need to respond and say it's an ongoing legal matter and will be discussed in court. Everyone will know what's up then. 2.5 weeks after that, Opie says, hi everyone, here's the latest update. My court date is set for the 27th and I've been doing everything I can to prepare. Honestly, this whole process has been so overwhelming emotionally, mentally, and financially. I never expected that standing up for what's right would come with such a heavy price. I've had to dip into my savings to cover legal fees, which has been stressful, but I can't back down now. The good news is my dad has agreed to testify on my behalf. He's been reflecting on everything and realizes now that my brother manipulated him by claiming that grandma wanted him to have the necklace. My aunt is also supporting me and has shared specific moments where grandma talked about how the necklace was supposed to go to me. Having them both on my side has given me hope. Meanwhile, my brother and his fiancée are making things even messier. She actually brought the necklace to a family dinner recently, wearing it like a trophy. She didn't say anything directly, but the way she was flaunting it felt like a calculated move to provoke me. My mum told me to just let it go after that incident, but how can I when it's so clear they're doing this to spite me? I don't know. Sometimes it feels like my mum is supporting my brother. She's been really quiet about all of this. The emotional toll of this fight has been huge, but I'm trying to stay strong. This isn't just about the necklace, it's about honoring my grandmother's wishes and standing up for myself in a family that has always prioritized my brother over me. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting me here. Your encouragement has been such a lifeline during this difficult time. I'll update you all after the court date on the 27th. OP adds to that post, I didn't expect things to get this intense. It's like every time I think I'm making progress, something else comes up. Still shocked by how quiet my mum's been about it all. I'll keep you all posted after the court date on the 27th. Fingers crossed. Commoner says you're dipping into your savings and causing all these rifts in your family and still going to lose the court case. OP says, I get that it might seem like a tough fight, but I'm not backing down. I have solid support from my dad and aunt, plus the legal side is looking better than I expected. I'm confident that when it comes down to it, I'll win this. Commenter says to OP, why does your father and mother allow him to continue acting this way? Flaunting the necklace at a family dinner in the middle of a lawsuit. Maybe if they put their foot down and didn't allow him to participate in family gatherings without returning the necklace to its rightful owner, or at least being respectful about it, they'd be more pressured to give up the necklace. If you end up with it back though, please wear it all the time in front of her and post pictures with snooty captions similar to hers about it, really finding its rightful home. Commenter says, I truly despise those mothers who use the damn just let it go bullshit argument. What she is really saying is, I want you to be a doormat because I refuse to deal with a real problem person and prefer that you just roll over and take it. Your mum can stuff it. She's just a horrible mother. I hope the court case goes well. Please give us another update. So OP does come in with another update and says, sorry for the late update. Things have been exhausting and I honestly needed some time to process everything. So we had our first court date on the 27th, and I won't lie, it was way more stressful than I expected. My dad testified on my behalf, making it clear that my brother manipulated him into handing over the necklace. My aunt also backed me up, sharing how my grandma always intended for it to be mine. My brother, of course, tried to twist things in his favor, acting like he was just following some private wish from grandma. But there's literally no proof of that. Right now, we're still waiting on the next steps. The case isn't fully settled yet. My brother is pushing back hard, probably hoping I'll just give up. His fiancée sat there acting all emotional, like she's the one being wronged in this situation. Meanwhile, my mum has barely said anything, which honestly hurts more than I thought it would. This whole process has been draining, emotionally and financially. Legal fees keep piling up, and I never thought I'd have to spend this much money just to fight for something that was supposed to be mine in the first place. It's frustrating, but I've come too far to quit now. I really appreciate everyone who's been supportive through this. Helps more than you know. I'll update again once there's more news. OP adds after that one, didn't expect this fight to take such a toll on me, but here we are. Just taking it one step at a time and hoping for the best. Someone says to OP, be aware that the girlfriend might lose the necklace. Dump your brother, then miraculously find it. Then sell it. Commenter says, that's what I was wondering. Is there any way like hold the necklace in some sort of not escrow but a safe third place? 2.5 weeks after that, OP comes in and says, sorry for the late update, but things have been insane. My next court date is set for March 9th, and let's just say a lot of people have shown their true colors. At this point, I'm convinced some people are just pretending this isn't happening. My mum's silent. My brother acted like this is some sort of personal attack on him, instead of what it really is, him taking something that was never his and certain other family members. Let's just say I now know exactly who would backstab me. The tension is unbearable. Some people are way too comfortable pretending this isn't happening. Let's just say some relationships may never recover from this. I've definitely heard a lot of talk about this from my family, but I've already spent more than I ever imagined on legal fees, and this is far from over. But giving up is not happening. And for those of you confidently predicting outcomes in the comments, stop. I'm not from the US and laws work differently here. A lot of people have been acting like they know exactly how this will play out when they don't even know how the system works here. Some people confidently say things that don't apply to my situation. If you don't know, just don't assume. I'll update again soon, but I'm holding my ground no matter how exhausting this gets. I know what's right. So it was around 2.5 months after that post that Opie came in again and said the court date happened on March 19th. 9th was a typo in my last post, sorry. It went better than expected. The judge seemed to actually listen. That's all I'll say for now, as my lawyer has told me to stay quiet for a while. Hope you'll understand. But what happened after court is what really flipped things. We were walking out of the building when my brother's fiancée said, "Hope it was worth losing your family over," loudly in front of everyone. Like she wanted an audience. I laughed. Couldn't help it, and I said, "You were never family to begin with." She lunged at me, no joke. Had to be held back by my mum of all people. My brother didn't even stop her, just stood there with this blank look like he wasn't part of this mess he created. We were literally in the courthouse parking lot and people were staring. It was surreal. Since then, things have gotten colder. My mum's pretending like it never happened and is ignoring me. My brother blocked me. My cousin texted me the other day saying the family group chat has been exploding with debates and screenshots, which I left as they were bullying and harassing me there for a while. At this point, it's beyond the necklace. It's about principle. It's about dignity, and I'm not playing small to keep the peace anymore. I'll post again when there's a final ruling, but yeah, just wanted to say I'm still standing and not one bit sorry. Thanks for the support. It all helped a lot. A commenter says to the OP, if it was a shared heirloom, he gave it away without consent. Defending your family's legacy is justified. Commenter says, OP, if your brother thought he could just hand off a family heirloom like it was a party favor without even asking, he messed around and found out. Defending your family's legacy isn't petty, it's protecting what matters. And the fiancée putting on a courthouse parking lot performance like she's in a soap opera. That alone justifies every legal step you took. You're not the villain here. You're just the one with a spine and some standards. And the last commenter says, bitter. You stood up for what matters to you. Family history and dignity, not some cheap trinket. But your brother's fiancée chose the worst possible time to rub it in your face, and now you're left feeling raw. Not the arsehole for holding on to your values, even if this whole messy drama was avoidable. Man, what an absolute messy situation, and there just seems to be like a lot of peacekeepers in that family. And I think it takes a serious amount of, I don't know, guts, if you like, to take your family to court. Especially when you've got peacekeepers in your family who are all like, you know, don't do that because it'll cause drama or etc, etc. I do find it mad though how it actually gets to this point where she's, you know, flaunting this necklace in front of people. There's a bunch of people that don't want her to have it. I know it doesn't make it legally right or anything like this. I just know people that would have just taken that necklace off of her. And I know that could cause all other sorts of legal implications, etc. I'm just trying to think of my childhood, man. I'm just trying to think of my brothers, actually. If we had a family heirloom and, you know, I was being an arsehole about it and I took it away and I was doing, you know, what's going on in this story, I think my brother would be through my door to take it off me, but we just wouldn't do that to each other in the first place. But hey, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.